Internet, good morning. My name is Magnitude, aka Steve, and I make a video on my birthday every year. And I don't know how it works out with the leap year, but at least every 7 years, I think maybe it's every 8 years with leap year, and one every 4, so maybe every 8 and a third years if you average it out on a long enough time. And my birthday also falls on Labor Day, so you are welcome if you are getting the day off from work while getting paid for it. You're welcome for getting the day off of school. You're welcome for getting extra money if you're at work. And you're welcome for all the delicious picnic food you're about to eat today. And of course, you're welcome for whatever else the good thing happens today because of the change in your normal activity and routine because of the holiday. Whatever that is, if instead of going to work, you're driving down the road and maybe you get a flat tire, and on the surface, that sounds like a shitty way to start a day, but you pull the car over, you get a flat tire, and it turns out your car actually rolls right over and stops just above a winning lottery ticket for $10,000 a year for life. You're welcome for that. I'm just trying to bring joy into people's lives. Professor for President 2016, I have a lot of graphic t-shirts that I have purchased from content creators, and actually I have 4 t-shirts of I'm not going to say my own design because they're all my dumb ideas that I don't have anywhere near the graphic knowledge or the artistic ability to create them on my own. So I have 4 t-shirts that Lynn, my good friend Lynn, has designed for me. They're in a shop below if you want to buy them. If not, that's fine. I'm never going to really push merchandise at this stage in my career because I'm not popular enough to do that. But I pretty much only design t-shirts that I intend on wearing myself, and then I just throw them for sale in case anybody else wants to buy them. So, I got a Sawsbucks t-shirt, I got a Sand Slash, that's a Droideka t-shirt, I have an Odell Beckham Jr. Passimian Catch t-shirt, and I have a Chef Scyther t-shirt, and I'm going to be adding another one shortly. It's another sports-related one, I think. Definitely. I don't know why I said I think. I know what the design's going to be. It's going to be another sports-related one, and it's going to be all done just for me. So it's going to be done for me, and if you feel like buying it, cool. I have these very niche ideas that I know I would wear for shirts, so I figure I want to get those done. So every year I make a video on my birthday. That does not change. I just called. I'm 28 now. I'm 28. In 2 years I'll be 30. What is that about? I'm married, I got a house, I got 2 dogs. Life is fun, man. Life, honestly, it's weird because it seems like on a day-to-day basis, life goes by pretty quickly. But then when I think about, my birthday last year, so much has happened. But because I am living in today, it feels like last year was so short. But when I actually sit down and think about all the things that I have done over the course of the last year, there's been a lot of stuff. I think so. People say that life goes by quicker the older you get because each day is a shorter percentage of your life, so it makes sense. So when you're 3 days old, 1 day is a third of your life, and then 1 day becomes a quarter of your life. But now 1 day is just a tiny fraction of your life. So I think that's true. That's why life goes by quicker. But I think as we grow older, we get into routines and more patterns, and then so for a majority of people, we wake up. Especially when you're older person, because school, I think when you're going to school, maybe like high school, even college, it's still kind of the same. You're still younger, so the days are a larger portion of your life. But when you're an adult, because you have so many things you're responsible for. I don't know why I snap my fingers there. There's supposed to be some kind of a point to when I snap my fingers, like hey, and then that's when the thing happens. But I don't know why I did that. Well, as you get older, you kind of get into more routines with your life, and you wake up 5 days a week, you go to a job that you don't like, you spend a majority of your day there, you come home, you're tired, so you kind of just sit on the couch and you burn through 3 episodes of a show. Before you know it, you're going to bed. That's your day right there. And you do that so many times, and eventually those days are going to meld together because you can't, so it's a phenomenon, I think, where if you watch a whole TV show, let's take a show with a lot of seasons, for instance, I'm just going to say a show that I'm watching. Scrubs has 8 seasons. I just picked the show that I'm watching now. I've seen the whole show. I've watched it through, but every time when I watch the show again back, I guess The Office is a great example of that because it's very popular now. We'll go with The Office because they look kind of like Jim from The Office. So The Office, forget that Scrub reference I just made. The Office. A lot of times when you're watching through that show, you'll watch an episode and go, oh man, I don't remember that happening in that episode. You remember the overarching theme of the episode, but small things about it maybe you don't remember or forget because there's just so much of it. and you've definitely seen it all, but you definitely also can't remember all of it because you never placed importance on all of it. And I think that's life is the same way, because so much happens, but because you just kind of coast through most of it, that life ends up being this super short journey, and that ends up passing people by because they don't either have the opportunity to make things important, or they just don't have the desire because they're so miserable with their day-to-day life. I think it's very important that, obviously every day try and do something unique, something different, something out of the ordinary, just so when you look back on your life, you can remember more specific things. Let's just take August 15th. I don't remember if right now you were to ask me, hey, what is one thought you had, one thing that you remember doing on August 15th? I could not tell you. I'm also a bad example. When I was a child, I had a head injury. My ability for memories get all fucked up, so sometimes my short memory is bad. And I've definitely said it before, but I forget if I said it recently or not because my short-term memory is not very good. So it's probably different for me, but every day I try and just do something different. Obviously, that didn't work on August 15th, but maybe if I look back and I checked back on the day, I can kind of have an idea. That's why I kind of like the internet for what it is. I'm not a big fan of social media for the reason that it makes people, it makes people compare their lives to other people, when just because you're posting what your life is on social media doesn't mean that's what your life is. I'm obviously not going to post all the worst parts about all of my days, so people might think that my day has no bad parts. That's not true at all, but it's really hard to get you general, to get somebody to see the other side of that. So that's why I kind of like posting on social media, because then, for years down the road, eventually I'll be able to look back and go, oh yeah, I remember that. And maybe it'll make my life feel like it's been longer. And, but that's just, who knows if that will even help. Because I'm 28 now. If you told me, like, I tell a story a good amount of times in relation to age and time. I remember when I was in elementary school, I was in 5th grade. We did a time capsule when we were leaving school, and we would not open the time capsule until we were seniors in high school. I remember sitting in elementary school going, this is literally going to be forever. I am literally never going to come back here and open this because I cannot fathom that much time going by. And now I've graduated high school 10 years ago. 10 years, damn, 10 years ago. But it feels like it's so short when you just think, holy shit, 10 years ago. But I can think of, I've done so many things. They might not be, I'm not talking about like I've done so many insurmountable tasks. I've done so many monumental different activities. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm just saying is I've done a lot of different things. I've had 2 long-term relationships since then. I've gotten married since then. I've had a number of, small, very tiny, not relationships at all, but just, acquaintanceships with people. You know what I'm trying to say. I have made a game in the last year. I've done all this YouTube stuff. I've gone all these different trips. I've made all these different friends. I've hung out with all these different people. I've made all these different experiences. And it's only been 10 years. When you think about it that way, or when I think about it that way, it's only been 10 years since I graduated high school. It has not been that long. There's not much. It's only been 10 years. I've done so much. I've done so many things, and I hope to keep continuing that. I'll be 30 in 2 years, but I'm 28 today. And I like to look back and reflect on stuff that I did and what I want to do in the upcoming year, and then I make another one at the end of the year because views. But this is a strange year for me because this time last year I was just getting into game design, like officially. And then in January, I think January 24th was the day that I actually released Nimble Nimbus, and it was good, right? Not the game itself. The game itself was a pile of trash, but it has to be. It's my first ever game. But the components about it were good. I took an idea and I made it happen, and I updated it, and it has propelled me to kind of where I want to be now knowledge-wise. So now I'm making another game. This game will definitely not be out by January. It'll definitely take longer than that, maybe like the following January. But I want to make sure this game works and it's pretty good, and I don't want to cut corners. With Nimble Nimbus, I learned how to use a database to keep player data, which is great. I learned how to do like an item shop, so I can constantly, pretty much a lot of stuff has to do with database integration. Like I have an item shop where I can always be updating the items in the shop. So like, if you log in a Nimble Nimbus shop and you saw item for sale, I could go in right now, change the items in the database. You don't even need to reopen the app. You just reopen the shop and the items will change. You reload the shop and the items will change. So I learned how to do that. I learned how to, do animation stuff. I learned how to pretty much do a lot of stuff in relation to game making. And it's really kind of propelled me to finally be able to make the game that I want to make in this new one. I talk about game design a lot because it's my passion. It's what I want to do. So in the last year, I published a video game. It's on iPhone, or it's on Apple Store, it's on Android. It's, it'll always be there. As far as the database goes, it's a free database I have, so that will always be up there as well. So I can always look back and play on it and check out the high score leaderboard. I'll probably look back on it in like 10 years and go, damn, this is, what did a 7-year-old, a blind 7-year-old make this? But coding-wise, it's a little sloppy. Of course it is. Coding-wise, everything is sloppy when you look back on it. You do something but I'm trying now to code things with other things in mind. And I think that might have hurt me. Because right now I do want to talk about it because I want to actually verbalize my thoughts. I've been having this thought for a little bit. So right now when there's an enemy spawn, so right now every monster has an overarching monster class. It's broken off into if it's a tower or if it's an enemy. And if it's an enemy, it has enemy stats, and if it's a tower, it has tower stats. But they kind of both branch off sort of the monster stats, and they kind of break it down. And then I have like temporary stats if it's a tower, because the way I have it saved is. So I have I don't know if you know what a JSON structure is, the string of data. It's structured a certain way so that you can just like kind of loop through and create a giant class out of data. The point is I have right now players' monsters being saved as JSON structures, and they're saved with their whole monster class. So it's their stats, their equipment, stuff like that. So I created then a second temporary stats, so when they're on the field specifically, so they can level up and stuff without having to, and if they can get like temporary boosts and nerfs without having to affect their overall what their character. So imagine, think of it like this. Think of it as though I made sure so that, let's say in Pokemon games, you use like an X speed to boost your speed, that if that speed stayed when the battle ended. You don't want that. And for a little bit I had that because I had all the stats being kind of lumped together as one giant class, so that whenever a monster would get a temporary boost in the field, it would then write that to the class, and then when the game turned off and turned back on, it would have a temporary boost in there, so it was not good. So I had to make temporary stats. And right now, my those JSON strings are pretty long. I'm thinking about kind of shortening them, but in order to do that, I have to kind of I'm thinking about having it a monster stats be calculated every time the game turns on, instead of having it calculated and saved, because it would save me a lot of space. But then I'm thinking, would it really save me that much space if there were 8 less lines in every JSON string? I don't know. I'm trying to determine that, but I'm having a lot of fun making this game. I think I'm gonna have a lot of progress over the course of the next year. I've already have 3 monsters that are quote unquote done. Like, they have character models, they have animations, they can be summonable, they have icons and stuff like that. So, but I mean, I'm still so far away from making this anything, playable, but there's definitely progress, and I am excited to see where the future holds with that. I'm excited to see what goes on with that. That's like my big thing in life now. I'm coding a lot more. I'm trying to make games a thing. I'll probably be shuffling through life this way probably for about another year, another 2 years, before I think I can really make something out of this game design stuff. Maybe longer, I don't know. But I've had enough ideas. People that know me know I've had enough ideas over the last 12 years of uploading on YouTube that eventually, if I do them, one of them's got to pan out, right? One of them does. I'm hoping this game design one does. We'll see where that goes. I am very excited to see where it goes. I'm very excited to, at worst case, I got a sweet hobby. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what I can do with it, and hope you guys follow along with that, because I'm like, this is what I want to do. And I thought for a while I still want to do YouTube, right? This week NBA 2K20 comes out, so I'll be uploading a NBA 2K20 franchise. I want to upload more Switch games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Smash Brothers, but right now I'm just focusing and I'm buckling down on making this mobile game that I want to make. My wife asked me yesterday if I want to make apps or just games, and I said I don't really know. I think I want to make apps, but I'm so focused on this game design thing. But I mean, apps are cool. Apps can be way less work, and you can make, I don't know, app design sounds pretty good too. I think I want to do that. My wife had a pretty good idea for an app that I don't want to give away because there's probably, God knows my luck would be there's somebody out there watching this who's way better at coding than I am, and then I say the idea and they go, shit, that's both a great idea and easy to do. I can do it in 9 minutes, and then I can monetize it. So maybe I'll start working on that and on the side too, just to see what I can do with it. But you know what? This video has been going on long enough. I'm 28 today. I'm at work. I'm getting holiday pay while at work. And you know what? I'm going to say this now because it's safe. I'm like 99% sure I'm going to come home from work today to a surprise birthday party. And I'll tell you why. There's 3 reasons why. I'm going to give you my detective skills. This is what I've deduced. One, so I'm working a regular day today. Today for me is a regular work day. I'm going in, I'm working 7 to 5, like normal, nothing's changing. My wife mentions that she took today off of work to, she said because she wanted to make dinner for me. Now, in the past, when she makes dinner, before I get home from work, she works from home. And she, so in most days, she'll have me text her, hey, when I'm going to be leaving work so she can start preparing dinner so that it's ready either when I get home or shortly after I get home. So she doesn't need a whole day for that. That's 1. 2, I had some friends over my house a couple days ago, and one of them, we're talking about, Labor Day, and one of them goes, oh, isn't that your birthday on Labor Day too? I'm like, yeah. But how do you know that? Because one could say, well, you saw it on Facebook saying it's his birthday this week. Sure, but when he said that, so today's Monday, even if you count even Sunday as the first day of the week, he told me this before even Sunday. So in Facebook land, it wouldn't have been this week yet, which means he had to have a way of knowing because I don't ever talk about my birthday ever. I don't want people to feel like because I'm mentioning my birthday, they have to get me a gift. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Don't buy me anything. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I think then the only way he could have possibly known that on his own was if my wife possibly invited him to a surprise birthday party. And then the third thing is, she was talking, maybe like a week ago, she was talking about making me a cake for my birthday. And then that same day that friend is over, she's very open about how she wants to get a very embarrassing photo of me and put it on the cake. I'm thinking to myself, okay, but first you said you were going to make a cake. And now 2 days later, you're talking about getting an embarrassing photo of me to put on the cake for only 2 people to see? You can go out of your way to get an embarrassing photo of me for a cake when there's only going to be me and you overeating it? Something's not right here. I feel like I'm coming home to a surprise party. And if I don't come home to a surprise party, great. I get to go to bed in a regular hour because I have work tomorrow. If I do come home to a surprise party, great. I get to hang out with some friends and drink some beer and then go to bed at a regular hour because I have work tomorrow. Either way, I'm happy. But I just want to say, if there is a surprise party, those 3 things are why I think it's happening. I've deduced those, and I'm very open about telling my wife, hey, if there is one, blame Derek. Derek is the friend who mentioned it was my birthday and just off the cuff on that Monday, or mentioned it was my birthday on Labor Day. And also, Erica, blame you for dropping these little clues, not staying consistent. But I could be horribly wrong, and I could be reading into it. But I'm at work 10 hours today, so she's got all day to plan it and to get people over if there is one. If there isn't one, I will be no less upset. I won't be upset at all, actually. I will not be upset at all. It will be still a fantastic day because I'm getting paid holiday pay for working today. Now I think I'm going to go. I just wanted to get that out on video because everyone, whenever there's like whenever someone gets surprised by something, someone will always, people sometimes like to try to defend themselves. They go, oh, I knew about it the whole time. Which is easy to say in the moment, but right now I'm telling you now before it happens, if it happens, that I knew about it. You didn't fool me. But I think I'm going to go now because this video's been like 20 minutes and it's going to take me all day to upload it on my hotspot. So